My role in McAfee, I manage digital operation quality team along with marketing ops and business ops and the content developers. Um, Functionize is a platform for our automation purpose, and we are looking for faster GTM and to reduce the testing life cycle and scaling our testing approach and to increase our testing coverage. So with these various expectations, we are working with the Functionize platform right now. The first part is the test coverage, right? When you are working with many dynamic pages, when you have thousands of web pages, it is very unrealistic to cover them with the manual efforts. So that is where we were lagging, and because of that, our campaign launching and the release are getting impacted. The dates and the milestones are getting impacted, and the defect leakage. So to stop the defect leakage, to overcome the human errors and the scalability, right? And we are more looking on a different, covering a different platform, different browsers to give a best experience to the customer. Okay, so that is where Functionize met our all expectations to work with them. We are into cybersecurity domain, and the user journey is little complex here, right? It does not have only the web experience. They have to install the product in their system, right? So it has a dependency on your Windows OS layers, and there are certain things at a desktop level it is handled. So when we talk about customer journey, so the initiation happens from the desktop level, which we don't have any control, so which has to be covered through manual, and our systems are so integrated. It is not only one module, you have a multiple modules where they use a subscription module, my account module, the offer utility, and your platform calls. There are various points which comes to that integration part. So it is becoming more complex for us to test it as an end-to-end solution for a customer. So what we have to do is a bits and pieces and make it tested, make it validated, and then release to the customer. So this is a more pain for us in terms of meeting that quality, right? So even though we cannot solve that problem, but what we thought, what is the best part to solve as like a 50%, right? So we thought, okay, why don't we do the web journey automation so that we can save that time and we can have more reliable results. All we have to worry about is the integration part, integration testing, right? So that is where the strategy we made, that let's automate the whole web flows for customers, and rest of the things until we find anything, a concrete solution, right? We will continue this integration part. As I said, I am part of a digital operational team, and we mainly work on the production environment. So whatever the marketing people want to launch as a campaign, it will directly go to the production because feature has been already released by the engineering team to the production. So we used to see a defect trend where either like there is a mismatch in the price or mismatch in the offer, or a page is not loading properly, there will be a broken link. So we used to see various problems, right? So what we thought, okay, let's take one of the top 1,000 the revenue pages. We will mount them for the monitoring job, right? So we started that experiment with the 50 pages. We wanted to get a idea of how exactly it works, how the alert system works when something fails, right? So we started seeing the trend that it is an instant alert if a page is has an issue, right? That gives us the confidence, and we started increasing the volume of the page for our monitoring purpose, which is basically shift right process. So that immensely helped our growth business, where if at all you can, like manually we would have not identified them on a first place, it would have been reported by customer, right? So Functionize, this monitoring job helps to identify before it reaches the customer, before he sees that page, right? So we got those alerts, and we have identified more than 15 defects in that production, which would have been impacted big time to the revenue. When I talk about revenue, right, it is the ROI, right? It is not only the investment in the tool what we save in terms of hours, it is mainly in terms of the revenue loss what we stopped, right? It is not only the human hours, or it is not the testing life cycle. We gave the best experience to the customer, where he did not see that issue, and before that we identified through this and we fixed that. So what the potential revenue loss, we stopped there. As a McAfee, we support around 48 countries, and we have around 45 plus payment methods for the users. So it's a very huge task to maintain all of them, and we have certain localization languages for the customer. With this test data management, right, we can centralize them in one single file to create a subscription or to complete a subscription. Okay, so the whole test data management becomes so simplified that it is a one-stop for us, right? We have made it so dynamic, which intelligence Functionize handle that intelligently, right? See, all you have to play with the country codes, right, for example, or you have to play with the payment methods, right? And dynamically started creating the URLs. Dynamically it is fetching the payment methods detail, datas, and it is producing a great result for us. Yes, this is testing is something everybody has a different meaning for it, and everybody has a different style of doing it. How it caters to the needs and how passionate is the tester, the productivity is more dependent on that. Okay, how creatively you can think about it. But when you talk about the whole industry where it is going, it has come from a long way, right? You can see AI implementation in testing is a huge thing, right? So the more of a AI test creation, more of a AI test data generation, test executions, okay, self-healing, which Functionize has that capability where if there is something changes happens on the page, it identifies and it does the self-healing. That is the AI capability, right? If you have to do it manually, it requires an effort. Even if you have own your in-house framework, you have to visit the code and you have to make the changes and you have to rerun that. It whole cycle involves the time. So that is the impact of AI, right? And that has Functionize has that capability, and I definitely see more features will be added to that in terms of creating a dynamic test cases, okay, feeding a test data, because the more you study about the data, right, the more the formulae, like, you can drive them, right? So I would say, like, it has a more scope in terms of AI, and yeah, it's a happening field, I feel, in the testing industry. So before that, right, for a tester, automation is a big thing, right? Everybody wants to make things simpler. They wanted to reduce the manual effort or the repetitive things what they are doing. But in a traditional way, automation is something like you need to know a language, or you need to know certain technologies or a database or some technical things. You have to aware of it. It has a learning curve. You cannot start immediately from 1. You have to go from 0 to 1, right? But the Functionize, when we implemented that, the whole intention is like any QA without any prior coding knowledge, he should be able to automate a test case within that time. The whole purpose of it. When we introduce the Functionize to the people, definitely initially they will have certain resistance, but when they start using the tool, when you get to know the feature, the more comfortable they become platform, they started loving it. And one more thing is, when we are working in an agile environment, right, it is like an instant recipe, right? You don't have to write whole set of a framework for that. If you have a static requirement, you wanted to test only single page, go that record and just play it around. That is a plug and place thing. That's a great benefit, and my team is really enjoying the automation journey. Yes, we started our the tool exploration with the visual comparison aspects. As I said, we have so much of dynamic nature when we have so many lift and shift projects are going on. We initially thought, okay, we should have a visual comparison tool, but then when we realized that our the in-house framework is something which we wanted to give a sunset, rather than maintaining a different set of tools, why don't we have a one-stop tool? So then we came up with a different requirement, right? Along with the visual, we thought, okay, it should be capable of handling all the functionality of the page. It should give us the performance results. It should also give us the connectivity to the database. It should also have an API integration. So, and we also wanted to see how we can intercept the network calls, the analytics, data analytics and all. How can we capture those parameters through the automation? So these are the set of use cases we had, and that is a business case for us, right? So we started the POC and we got a breakthrough in many of these use cases. See, any POC may not be 100% achievable, but at least we have a benchmark. If reaches 85% to 90%, the last mile anyway we can reach over a period of time. So with that, during that time, visual comparison was not available in the Functionize, which after that, out of the box, they built and they delivered it for us. So keeping that business case, we projected to the management saying that this is the investment we are going to do, and we are going to bring down the defect density to this much of percentage, and we are going to reduce the testing life cycles to this percentage less, and we can increase the GTM dates, and also we can monitor the pages, as I said, like this monitoring tool, like we can use them as a monitoring job, and we can also have increased the test coverage, where because of the test coverage we are seeing the defects, right? We could not test all the scenarios, right? So we built that use cases and we are able to convince the management, and we stood to those words, right? We delivered that. Technical solution, it has all the capabilities of handling the functionality testing. In addition to that, we have got the visual comparison, and we have got the feature of link checks, and the special is the self-healing. That is a huge success, right?
Can you elaborate a bit on self-heal?
Okay, so when we are a content management system, right? We change a lot of things on the pages, right? So what happens, the position of the asset or the position of the content may vary based on the marketing needs. So for the whole content purpose, you don't have to go through the functionality validations. So when you have designed the testing, if the content changes, it triggers that. The self-healing triggers that, okay, here there was a particular element was here, it has moved here, right? So that is, you can review them and you can accept it in the self-healing. Otherwise, you have to debug in the normal traditional way, okay, why it is. See, basically the other framework, it will give you as a fail. The test case will fail. But here you have an option to review them and mark it as it's accepted or declined, right? This is one of the big point for us to get the Functionize, right? Pre-sale is always a cakewalk. Anybody can convince anybody to purchase a product, right? If we get convinced. The real action starts the post-sale. And these are all the technology tools which require support, right? So when we started the communication with Functionize team, especially George, and he's very good in giving us all the help, and during the POC, and he assured that it is the same when we onboard the Functionize. The onboarding process was very smooth for us. We did not face any hiccup. It was kind of a plug and play here and there. The security compliances we have to meet, that was not a hurdle for us. But even post onboarding, till now, it's been 3 years, we have a quick 2 hours turnaround time from Functionize support team. That is exceptionally well. Nobody can give that kind of a support, right? Like everybody has an SLA of 24 hours, 48 hours, but getting an answer in 2-3 hours, getting a solution 2-3 hours, That makes Functionize stand out from the others in the industry. I do agree that human element is necessary. It cannot be autonomous, right? And especially when we talk about testing, it's a myth, right? You cannot automate 100% or whatever technology you implement. There is a human intervention is required. It cannot be completely driven by AI, but to certain extent you can minimize it. And minimizing is something is a huge task, right? So I would say like we still need that human support, but even like this artificial intelligence also have a bigger role in the testing industry.